Movement is one of the most important things to get right in a game, especially in a 2D game where 90% is all about your movement. And if your movement feels bad, you can almost certainly say that your whole game is probably going to feel bad. And for a while, our character was like this as well. As you might know from our previous devlog, we had this demo character and we made some quick animations for it and we put on the default godot movement script and we just tested with it and everything was fine. Until we started making our nice looking character, which we will use in game, and that's actually in the game right now with some pretty nice movement. But it wasn't always the case like that. The newer animations were technically working and they were already a big improvement from the old demo character we had, but something still felt weird. The character felt floaty with the movement, the animations felt too slow but too fast at the same time, and they just didn't feel nice to control at all. So we started experimenting with different animations, testing different speeds, different frames, adding freeze frames to our animation, which did a lot. And eventually we got our walking animation to look much cleaner than it did before. Like adding those few frames where the character's legs and arms are still for a moment, it made the character feel so much more human. It didn't feel as static as before, like you're just basically a robot walking around. It felt more organic, but it also kept some of the flashiness that we wanted to have in our game. And it just started improving and improving the further we went on it. But then there was another big problem, and that was we were still using the default Godot script that comes on your character if you make a 2D character. Like, if you have been using Godot or you know about Godot, you probably know about why this is a bad thing. The Godot movement is really wacky if you just use it as it is, so we needed to make our own movement and make it feel nice. So that's why we set up a state machine. For those who do not know what a state machine is, you can basically see it as a big graph that just keeps track of what the player's state is in. Like, for example, you can see here we have our walking, our idle, our jumping, and our falling state. And the state machine says, hey, if certain actions are taken, the character should be walking and should be playing the walking animations and should be having the velocities and the movement of a character that is walking. Also, another thing that helps when you're using a state machine. Hey! Also, a state machine is just way more expandable in the long run. If you want to add, for example, a dashing state where the character can dash around the scene and dodge through enemies, you can just add a different state and handle the movement from there and handle every really tiny specific thing about the dash right there instead of the big script that comes with the default Godot. But now there was another pretty big problem. From now on we have this huge list of variables and I just guessed some values to try to see if I got it working, and it felt alright, but now was the time to really make the movement click and have that nice feeling of a character in it. Like, for example, if you look at Hollow Knight Silksong, for example, the jumping feels nice, and having a platform that you can just reach if you jump perfectly, that just feels really good to play. And our game didn't have it. The problem our game had is if we have this middle tile, you can not walk underneath the tile and also not jump on top of the tile without the need of a helper platform somewhere else in the scene. And that just made the movement feel bad. So we wanted to change it. And instead of just guessing the values, because we have a lot of values, like you have your acceleration, your air acceleration, your deceleration, multiple gravity values when you're on the ground, when you're jumping, when you're falling, your hang time. All those different things need to be taken into account when calculating your jump velocity. So for the first time in like 5 or 6 years, I needed to use the physics that got taught to me in high school. I didn't think I would need it ever in my life anymore. But instead of just guessing the values, I could calculate them and make the game feel way better than it would if I just randomly put in some numbers till it felt alright. So once everything was calculated, we put it into the game and it feels so good. Like you can see, I have here this 3x3 tile jump, and you can just barely make it if you make a good jump, and that just feels so nice because you know that that jump is made for the game. And those tiny details make your game feel so much better, and especially just the movement. And after playing around for a while, now our character feels really good to play, and it can be something to be proud of. It is a small system, but maybe one, if not the most important system in your whole game. Next up, we will be working on our enemies and our environment. So if you want to follow us along, just stay subscribed and we will see you soon. The frogs are out.